Cornell Cooperative Extension of Orange County presents 4-H Incubation and Embryology Online. Welcome back to Incubation and Embryology. I'm Maggie Smith, your 4-H Animal Science Program Manager for Orange County 4-H. And with me today to help us in our lesson is Frank and Beans.
Hi!
Welcome to 4-H Incubation and Embryology. Today is Lesson 5, Brooder Box Prep. So our first question is, what is a brooder box? A brooder box is a pen for chicks that provides protection, heat, feed and water, and space for them to move around. As you can see in the picture, brooder boxes come in many different varieties. So things that we're going to need for our brooder box. Absorbent bedding material is required so that chicks can walk on it as well as scratch it. Things like wood shavings, paper towels, shredded paper work great. You want to have something that's absorbent as well as soft. The next thing you're going to need is a heat lamp. It's very important that you have the right required heat lamp. Using a regular light bulb is not going to have the right amount of heat that you need for your chicks. So make sure you find a heat lamp at your local Agway, Tractor Supply, or feed store. Having one with a guard on them, as located in these pictures, is most beneficial. Things that we need to remember with our heat lamp is that the heat lamp only goes on one side of your brooder box, not in the center. Chicks cannot regulate their temperature, so they need to be able to go into the heat when they're cold and out of the heat when they're too warm. The next thing we'll need, feeders and waterers. So these are some examples of plastic as well as metal feeders. These are gravity feeders, so you'll fill them up, screw the tops on, and then flip them over. The trough that's opened, that is the waterer, and the trough that has the holes in it, that's the feeder. So things that we need. So the brooder box, it needs to be a safe and secure area. You can have a homemade brooder box out of wood, which has a top and screen to lift off. You can have an older box or a plastic bin, or even a cooler works great. It just needs to be somewhere where the chicks are protected and covered. Let's catch up with Riley and Frank to see what we need to put together our brooder box and how it's done. So let's go over our checklist. Have we washed our hands? Have we made sure that our incubator works? Have we added our water? Have we checked our temperature? Okay, so rule number 1 of incubation embryology, remember, is do nothing. But today we have to do something. So let's make sure that Riley and Frank wash their hands as we head on over to put together our very own brooder box to make sure that we are all set and ready for our chicks and our ducks.
First, we wash our hands.
So let's do our incubator check. Riley is going to add water to our incubator for our chicks. Good job. And Frank is going to add water for our ducks. Frank and Riley, how many eggs do we have for our chicks?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. And how many ducks?
1.
1. So hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll have 5 chickens and 1 duck. So let's go check in with Riley and Frank to see what we need for our brooder box.
Shavings, heat lamp, water, feeder, block of wood, bucket.
Is that all we need?
Yes.
So let's start with step number 1, adding our shavings. Are we all done?
Yes.
Step 2, adding our block of wood, putting our waterer on top of it, and then adding our feeder. Step 3, adding our light.
Need help.
So as we took a little break to help with some adult assistance with putting on our light, because it's pretty tough, I want to remind everybody who's putting together your brooder box. Your feeder and your waterer need to go on one end of your brooder box and your light needs to go on the other. This is because our chicks cannot regulate their temperature, so they need to spend their time underneath the warmth when they're too cold and then walking to the other side as they get their feed and water.
Step 4, add your chicks. Step 5, clean up your mess. Day 11.
Day 11. On day 11 of incubation, our beak begins to harden and the digits completely separate on our feet.
10 days to go.
With 10 days to go, the loops of the intestine of our chick begin to grow into the yolk sac. Our down feathers, combs, and wattles begin to be visible, and the claws and scales on our toes also begin to be visible.
9 days to go.
With 9 days to go, the water inside of our egg begins to decrease the more our chick develops.
8 days to go.
With 8 days to go, our skeleton is almost complete on our chicks.
7 days to go.
With 7 days to go, our skull begins to harden and our embryo turns their head towards the blunt end of the egg. All right, all. Frank and Beans and myself are signing out. We'll see you next time when our chicks and our ducks are hatching. See you guys soon.